Hey YouTube, how you doing? Biggie here, how's everything? And welcome to another movie review. Today's movie review I'm going to be reviewing is a movie I really enjoy. Without a doubt enjoy. If you like old 80s, 90s action films, like especially buddy cop films, well, today I'm going to be reviewing one of them. The movie I'm going to be reviewing today is Lethal Weapon. Yup. Lethal Weapon was released in the spring of 1987, and it's directed by Richard Donner, who's directed other movies we all know like The Goonies and the Superman film series with Christopher Reeve. He did a very fantastic job and a splendid job directing this film. I always enjoyed this film, and I even enjoyed some of the sequels too. Everything about this film was wonderful. The cast and crew were awesome as well. Even the special effects and action sequences and technology were absolutely stunning as well, especially for the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. The plot of this film starts with two pairs of mismatched LAPD detectives, a former Green Beret U.S. Army of the U.S. Army, Martin Riggs, played by, we all know, Mel Gibson. He was suicidal after the death of his wife, and he was grieving and everything and going through a tough time. And he teams up with another detective named Roger Murtaugh, played by Danny Glover, who is a family man with a wife and three kids and a house and a fishing boat. And he's also a veteran of the U.S. Army. However, nobody was convinced that Martin Riggs was suicidal, but the police psychiatrist, played by Mary Ellen Trainor, who we all know was in the Goonies, may she rest in peace, she was aware of it, and she tried to tell Lieutenant Captain Ed Murphy, played by Steve Kahan or whatever, and Murphy would not listen, but then eventually Detective Murtaugh finds out about it, and Riggs was transferred from the narcotics to, I guess, homicide with Roger Murtaugh. And Riggs and Murtaugh, in the beginning, they did not get along until they started to slowly get along in somewhere like in the middle of the movie. Yes, and then eventually when they do get along, Murtaugh invites Riggs to his house to have dinner with his family, and he introduces him to his wife and kids. Trish, his wife, played by, we all know, singer Darlene Love, and his three kids, Rianne, played by Traci Wolfe, Carrie, played by Ebonie Smith, and Nick, played by Damon Hines. And they did a good job as well. And however, when Riggs and Murtaugh start to team up and they start to investigate a murder of a prostitute named Amanda Hunsaker, played by Jackie Swanson, and her death was caused by poison, and she took pills that had drain cleaner in. That's what the autopsy said. And they said if she wouldn't, and she jumped out of a 40-story window, landed on a car, and died. And that's when Murtaugh was contacted by his former Vietnam War friend buddy, Michael Hunsaker, played by Tom Atkins, and Roger tells Mike what the autopsy showed of Amanda's death, and he tells Roger that she was getting involved with prostitution, drugs, and pornography, and then eventually, I guess, they find out Michael Hunsaker was pretty much involved in this, and he reveals that during the Vietnam he worked for a defunct CIA company called paramilitary unit company called Shadow Company, and they've been bringing in heroin for trade to finance the VC government. It was all run by ex-CIA's agents, soldiers, and mercenaries. And then eventually Michael is killed by one of the leaders named Joshua, played by Gary Busey, or should I say Nutcase. And they also had the help of a general named Peter McAllister, played by Mitchell Ryan. And eventually it led to Joshua and McAllister and their crew / mercenaries kidnapping Roger's older daughter, Rianne, and holding her hostage and forcing Riggs and Murtaugh to tell them what Hunsaker told them about the shipment and everything, and they refused to tell them, but then that's what eventually all the bad guys started going down, and the scene where Joshua was the last one, and he goes to Murtaugh's house, and that's when you would see in the ending part, we all know the big fight with him and Riggs, and then all know Riggs won the fight eventually. And while Joshua was being handcuffed by other cops, he tried to take the gun out one of the cops' pocket and then tried to shoot them, and then Riggs and Murtaugh just pulled their guns out and killed them. Shot him dead, and that was it. And yeah, scary. And also, I wanted to mention this is also a Christmas movie as well, and there were scenes of Christmas in this movie. And in the end, after the fight, Riggs goes to see his wife at her grave and gives her flowers and says, Merry Christmas, Victoria Lynn. I love you. And that's when he goes to the Murtaugh's family's house for Christmas dinner, and then Riggs introduces his dog Sam, which was a collie, to the family, and the Murtaugh's to the Murtaugh's cat named Burbank, and then the barking and meowing Murtaugh. And then Murtaugh was famous saying, "I'm too old for this bleep." What else is there to say about Lethal Weapon? This is totally an action classic. If you've never seen this movie before, I recommend you go check it out. You are totally missing out. Go see this film today or whenever you get time. It is so great. All the actors were good, very good in this film, and Richard Donner did a very good job directing the film, and Shane Black wrote the film as well. He did a pretty good job in this. I love the sequences in this film and the fight scene I just mentioned, the martial arts styles and everything. It's unbelievable. And this film, it did pretty good from critics. If I know correctly, Siskel and Ebert gave this film 2 thumbs up. And Roger Ebert, may he rest in peace, said this movie thrilled me from beginning to end. And Rita Kempley of the Washington Post said it's a pistol-packing, snap-crackling, thinking man's thriller. I agree on that, yeah. And this movie has an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb and a 3.7 out of 5 on Letterboxd. And 87% of Google users like this movie. I know I did. And this movie, see if I can find the budget. This movie had a budget of $15 million and it scored $120.2 million at the box office. So, yeah, I really love this film and I totally recommend it. If you've never seen Lethal Weapon before, check it out. You won't be sorry. Alright, YouTube, nice seeing you. Take it easy, be safe, and stay out of trouble. Peace.